Let's talk some news here on Augusta Free Press. Chris Graham here on a Friday, and some of the news involving Virginia news that has some national import as well. Fifth District Republican Bob Good is part of a five-member bloc that could prevent Kevin McCarthy from being elected House Speaker. This news popping up in the last couple of days. Now, Good, whose district kind of straddles the 29 corridor from the exurbs of Northern Virginia all the way down to the North Carolina border in the Danville area. He first made headlines last week regarding the speaker race when he announced pretty clearly he won't be voting for McCarthy for speaker. The quote was, "There's nothing about his leadership or lack thereof when we were in the minority that would give you any indication he's the right person to lead us in the fight to save the country." That was Bob Good. Now it's being reported that Good, along with Andy Biggs of Arizona, Matt Gaetz of Florida, Matt Rosendale of Montana, and Ralph Norman of South Carolina, all intend to vote for Biggs for House Speaker. Now, why that matters is Republicans who had been, there had been a lot of talk about Republicans winning as many as 240 or more seats in the midterm elections, which would have given them a sizable majority in the House of Representatives. Actually only ended up with 222. You need 218 to elect a speaker. So if five members say they're going to vote for somebody else, that's 217, and that would throw the election up into great discord. So Good is part of a group that is sort of holding the speakership hostage, and also holding it hostage then is McCarthy, the California Republican who's been the minority leader for the House Republicans the past couple of years. Has been playing some hardball of his own. He's using his power as the current minority leader to push the decisions on House committee chairmanships into next month, right after the speaker election on January 3rd. And that is rankling some of the rank and file who are upset that the chairmanships won't be accounted for, thus committee memberships will be up in the air. Staff positions, being able to prepare bills for markup, all that will be held up until those chairmanship positions are decided upon. So some politics behind the scenes there of interest. Some bipartisan politics in the news with the latest on TikTok being banned by a state government. Virginia has now joined the fray. Governor Glenn Youngkin announcing late Friday afternoon, late today, that with an executive order, he will ban state government phones and wireless networks from having TikTok. Basically, state employees can't use TikTok on their state government mobiles. They can't access it from state government wireless, so at their offices, basically. And this is on the heels of, a lot of things. A number of states have already made similar directives regarding their mobile phones that are state property and wireless networks that are state property. The U.S. Senate voted unanimously on Wednesday on a bill that would prohibit individuals in state governments from downloading or using the app on their devices owned by the federal government. And that legislation, by the way, to just show because that legislation was introduced by Josh Hawley, a Republican, but House Speaker Nancy Pelosi, the outgoing House Speaker, who's a Democrat, has indicated that she will support the House backing that measure. Florida Senator Marco Rubio has introduced legislation that would extend that ban to not just government phones, but to all U.S. wireless networks, mobile networks, Wi-Fi networks, and make it basically nationwide. And Rubio's colleague on the Intelligence Committee, the committee's chairman, Mark Warner, a Virginia Democrat senator, issued a statement backing that idea as well. And so, hey, this is interesting. I mean, this is something that I've personally avoided. The reason that you're seeing this wave of late is for several months. There have been questions raised by intelligence reports that have indicated that there's a strong supposition that TikTok, which is owned by a Chinese state entity, is being used by the Chinese Communist Party to spy on Americans, essentially. And so it's why I've personally stayed away from TikTok. But now you're starting to see this information kind of seeping into the political marketplace. So it'll be interesting to keep our eyes on that development. One last bit of news, not politically necessarily, but we will talk about it in the context of social media. Elon Musk banning several journalists from Twitter who've been writing critically about him. I wrote a admittedly snarky column about this today. We quit Twitter about a month ago now, for the reasons that we're starting to see more and more evident each day. This latest move by Musk, the world's reported once wealthiest man, now he's been knocked down on the list because his purchase of Twitter has actually cost him tens of billions of dollars, as it turns out, off his net worth. But the supposed free speech absolutist has made it clear that he's anything but. The supposed centrist, who is apolitical, has proven to be anything but. He's very much a right winger, almost alt right winger, and I'm not sure if the word almost is necessarily the case there anymore. What we revealed in the column is something I've written about previously, that for all the bluster that Twitter gets for being so valuable in the news business, and how it's essential that one is on it if one works in the news business, both from the perspective of news outlet or just as an individual news journalist. And I kind of represent both. I'm the editor of Augusta Free Press. I'm also someone who is a journalist too. Twitter, when we look at our analytics, Google Analytics, over the past year represents about 1.5% of our traffic. Far more important to us, Google News, Newsbreak app, Smart News, and Facebook, which account for more than 3/4 of our traffic. So the decision that we made a month ago, when it started to become clear to us that Elon Musk was taking Twitter in a direction we weren't comfortable with, was not a hard one. For all the time we spent posting our links to Twitter, engaging in live blogs in Twitter Spaces, there was very little reward, despite just hours of effort, tens of hours of effort, scores of hours of effort. And so he wanted to spend his $44 million to put Twitter on fire, to make it basically into a kinder, gentler 4chan. That's his prerogative. It's his property now. He's the private owner. Took the company private after he bought it last month. So our assumption is someone's going to come up with a next Twitter, and in the meantime, we'll just take our time enjoying not having to delve into the rabbit holes and dodging the minefields that life in contemporary social media brings to us. Anyone with questions, stories you want us to address, anything else, send me an email at chris@augustafreepress.com.